it's really important that we begin to change the mindset of young people to know that your vote counts.
They don't understand that the legislative arm of government is actually a co-equal arm of government.
We have an incredible amount of potential.
Whatever it is I was doing, because of my personal DNA, it had to be of an international standard.
Which is what, seriously speaking, is all about. Hello there. For those who are watching this show on Valentine's Day, I'll say Happy Valentine's Day. The topic we're going to be talking about today is one that is sensitive, even for people like me, you know, sex. For many, I remember, I don't know how old I was, there was this music that used to blare out of radios. You find kids singing it. Let's talk about sex, baby. Let's talk about you and me. I can see my cameraman, men and everybody laughing behind the scenes. But the truth is, sometimes we say these words, but we do not know what it actually entails. Most people enter into marriage or into relationships without understanding how valuable and how important that aspect of our lives is. And so we raise our children, not preparing them for what to see. But in recent times, I noticed online, everywhere, there are sex toys being paraded and things like that. So today on the show, I decided, let's talk about love and sex and put it in the right context. But then I'll be introducing to you two people. One person sells sex toys. Can you believe that? Right here in Nigeria. And she's not ashamed to say so. And the other is very, very vocal on social media about anything that touches. He writes on sex and sexuality. So don't shut your ears. Gather around and learn a few things about some of the things that are important in life. Because if sex wasn't important, God would make it happen, would he? We'll be back. Yes, on the segment now, I have a basket of booty, what somebody would call it. Because in this basket are all sorts of things that can help you be better in those intimate moments with your loved one. Now, I have this on and it's role-playing, but my guest, who's going to talk a little bit more about it, is Iheoma Obibi. She's an African feminist writer. She is, until recently, was very much into the insurance. Until now, she's still in the board of the firm she works with. But what takes her time most is what's in this basket and what she does in her business that's called Intimate Pleasures. It's my pleasure to welcome on set today, Iheoma Obibi.
Good morning. Thank you for having me.
It's nice to have you. You look like one sweet little innocent girl.
I am.
Are you?
Yes.
And there you are selling all these things. People say, that's a bad girl. In fact, there's a book in here. What's that book?
Which one?
There's one book here that says how to be a bad girl in bed. Okay, how to be a bad girl in bed.
Yes.
Now, isn't it strange? What I find interesting is that friends called you crazy.
Yes.
Are you crazy?
No.
Friends called you, is it that you like sex or what? Why do you do this?
Actually, it was my husband's idea. I think he got tired of me traveling and people saying, Iheoma, you have no shame. Enter Ann Summers. Buy me this, buy me that. And I will enter Ann Summers.
Because you have no shame.
Yeah. And I would say, oh, they have this, they don't have that. Which one? They've got a new one. And he just said, and then I would get to the airport, I will have excess, and I will call him, and he will pay. And one summer, I did it, and he said, okay, you know what's going to happen? Do a business plan. I will fund it.
Okay, now that's the way it happened. I need to take off this, because I'm not role-playing anymore. I'm doing my...
Yes.
But, you know, sometimes it's like, are you saying sex should be everywhere? Everybody should engage in sex, or what?
No.
What are you saying?
I think adults above the age of 18 in a committed relationship need to be honest about their demands for intimacy. And I think in our environment, we're not as honest as we could be in making those demands in our relationships.
Should we be honest?
We need to.
Why?
Because I meet people, male and female, who say, okay, I married the man that has the money, but he doesn't satisfy me sexually. I have a toy boy on the side. And for me, I have fundamental issues with that. I believe that if you are going to be in a committed relationship, you're in a committed relationship. And you must do everything you can to make it work. And that means being honest about your sexual desires, your needs, your wants. As your body changes as a woman, your needs change.
Menopause?
Yes. So if you're 20 as a married woman, it's different from what you need at 30, 40 after you've had your children. When you're 50, 60, menopausal, your needs are different than your sisters that are 40. Are we honest with our desires?
Well, fine. Do we need to be honest? You said, yes, we need to be honest. Now, if we openly, because, I mean, what you have is an array of all kinds of things that can help you have a better, intimate relationship with your partner.
Yes.
Now, this partner, you're a Christian, I assume.
Well,
I know.
I don't have
Don't
any
you
other
guys telling
faith.
you, why are you doing things like this? Is this against what God...
I get that every day. In fact, I have my sisters are born again, Mountain of Fire, and she's praying for the salvation of my soul. I have another group of friends who are convinced that, oh my goodness, Iheoma. But I also recognize that we have a problem. And I don't see why I should bury my head in the sand and pretend that there isn't a problem.
Now, could that be also because of your upbringing? You grew up in the UK, so it's okay and easy to be that way. Has it changed? Is it changing and being like that? Because we still not...
Our biggest problem is that we don't have a proper sex education policy, in the sense that young people are not taught to respect themselves properly. What they're taught is to abstain.
And is that bad?
The girls are taught to make yourself pure. They're not given any other education. Now, from making yourself pure and virginal to getting married and having sex is a big gap. And it's usually information. They have no information. There's no recourse to get information. Sometimes if they go to the health center to get contraceptives, the sister there will say, are you married? And if you're not married, it's a problem. If you're married, don't you want a baby? Why are you going on the pill? Do you understand? So it's a problem. We have a problem and we need to address it.
So is there a market for this? Because, I mean, now
Yes,
you left your business you've left your paid job to focus on this.
My biggest problem is everybody thinking, sex toys, okay, I'm going to China. So they're flooding the market with fake Chinese toys that are not good for the body.
Why are they called toys?
They're actually called adult toys because they're for adults.
Mm-hmm. So there are things that do all kinds of things to your body?
Yes.
Okay. You know, there was this book that was quite controversial at one time, the Grey, 50 Shades of Grey.
Yes.
It's like starting to open people's minds to, isn't it perversive to start thinking about sex?
I don't think so. I'm the wrong person to ask that now. I just think that if you're in a committed relationship, then the two of you need to work at it.
So it's a matter of choice.
Yes, it's a matter of choice.
Now, you talk about sex education, right? Where do you think it lies? I personally, well, I don't know. I mean, where do you think it lies? The responsibility to the schools or to the parents?
I think it should be a combined effort. We have a public health situation where we have young people engaging in risky sexual behavior.
Especially on days like Valentine's Day.
Yes.
They think this is the guy for me or this is the girl for me, and then they go all the way.
Then you have parents giving them the knowledge. So you have ABC, abstain, be careful, condom. And you have to teach them that, because whether we like it or not, we are of a certain generation, but our younger ones are of a social media generation for which sex is everywhere. And sex
They just hit them in the face.
Yes, and sex is used to sell cars and toothpaste. So their generation is completely different.
So are we just going to be
us.
all about sex?
No, all about education. It's very important.
And you make your choice.
Yes, you have to educate. I cannot emphasize that enough. You know, I meet women who say, oh, my husband wants to try this. He saw it in a porn movie. And I ask them, what do you think?
Should he be watching the porn movie?
Those are his choices. I can't determine that for him. He's an adult. However, his wife has a choice to negotiate safely whether she wants to engage in whatever it is he wants to do or not. But they have to discuss it. Now, what happens? Many of them are not discussing it. They will phone the hotline. Madam, my husband
That's
says...
your hotline?
Yes, our hotline. And you're like, okay, madam, he wants me to do... a classic example. A guy calls us one day and he says, madam, my wife has been complaining to go down, to go down, to go down. What does she mean? So when I explained it over the phone, he said to me, so this mouth that I want to use in doing confession is the mouth you want me to use in licking that area? No, it's not possible. Now, he was willing to negotiate with his wife, but he didn't understand
what to do.
What to do.
So I think the point we're making here is people need to talk about what their needs are and find solutions to them and negotiate a comfortable place where they will be in a committed relationship.
Yes.
That's what you're saying. But I want to bring in somebody who writes and very vocal. I'll take a break so that we can converse and discuss this on the side. Then I can share my own opinion too. Because here, you're my guest, but there, we are engaging. So we'll be right back. Yes, I'm still on set, but this time, Ifelanwa, I hope I get the name right. I must...
Ifelanwa.
Ifelanwa.
Yes. Osundolire.
So it's not an SH?
No, it's not an SH.
Oh, okay. I thought all S's in Yoruba were Osundolire.
No, there's the S and the Sh.
Okay, tell me. I like you, but I'm more interested in what's in your head. How does an architect end up being a sexual voice?
Okay, don't let me say. Let's underline the word sexual voice.
Yeah, because you write all sorts of things.
I write all sorts of things, money, business, career. And what motivates me really is I realize that education captures a part of life that really isn't the essential.
That's not real life.
Yeah, that's not the real life. So you go to school going through maths and English, you don't learn about love, you don't learn about money, how to keep it, how to spend it. You don't learn about sex. You don't learn about those things that as you grow are really the important things. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I write about any one of those things that I feel should be spoken about.
Well, the recent one that you wrote that created quite a buzz, I don't know that one had the highest hits for you, Sex and the Voice of Freedom. Yeah. You seem to be saying that there should be some kind of freedom with talking about sex. What is it?
No, I was saying...
As the voice of freedom, as if sex frees you.
No, I was saying the more freedom you have, the more likely you're going to express it through sex.
Oh.
Yeah.
How does that work?
Okay. Sex for me, the underlying logic is that sex is a choice. And,
within or outside marriage?
Within and outside marriage, really. Mm-hmm. And the easier it is for you to choose who to have it with, where to have it, how to have it, the more those options are bound around you, the more you're likely going to want to express yourself because it's a primal need. So the more you're likely going to want to express yourself. In the article, now you can join a social media group, ping someone you have not seen, not known before,
and people are saying
who's in your vicinity. Nude images go back and forth. And in 2-3 hours, you're in bed with someone who's a total stranger, really. In the past, you didn't have such liberties. But now with those liberties, and even much more liberties, A lot of things go on.
So what you're saying is that people therefore need to be better educated.
They definitely, in fact, if there's any time to be better educated, it is now. Where, for instance, I was reading an online thing where they were writing codes chat codes that parents don't know, but children know. So something like, GNOC, get naked on cam.
Oh, wow.
If your teenage daughter writes that and you're reading through the thing, you still don't know what she's saying.
Yeah. So which for me is where I find it difficult. I personally think when it comes to sex, it's up to the parents to teach the kids what they should know, at least to guide them. Because you just tell them what you open them up and let them make their choices are theirs.
But do parents know better?
Parents don't know better. Not in our environment, no. I think in our environment, you need a combined effort of education, the schools, then the responsibility of the parents at home. What we have now is parents burying their heads in the sand, and then the schools, especially the private schools, not wanting to offend the parents, not doing anything.
Well, like all I have here is some of the toys that you have, just so to show that, the fact, if you get engaged in it, you talk about committed relationship, it must be done right. But before I get to that, before people start wondering, what's all these things on her table? Just to decorate the place and show it works. But you are a father of how many kids do you have now?
Two kids.
Girls or boys?
Boys.
2 boys. So are you teaching, how old are they? Are you teaching them anything?
They're still really young.
Tell me, what's really young? What's really young?
The first one is 3, going on 4.
Does it know the difference between
the other
one body part and the other?
Oh, yes, it does. The other one is
baby.
5 months.
Baby. So that's out of the question.
But, even for the 3-year-old, for instance, my wife and I would say, it's a bad habit for anybody to touch your bum bum. I mean, let me
even for a boy?
Yeah, even for a boy, because out there you hear all sorts of horror stories about abuse, about rape that have to do with children. I mean, it's absurd, it's horrible, but it happens. Even in the most awkward places like church, like, public restrooms, like creches.
I just wonder, though, if we're openly talking about sex, we're saying sex is all out there, it's there. You can buy any of these toys to make it better. Aren't we saying go out there and play rougher with sex? Aren't we opening it up?
You'll be surprised. I'm the mother of an 18-year-old, and I have an 18-year-old boy. I have a 12-year-old girl. And because of the nature of the work that I do a lot of peer education. And I can see where my son differs with his peers in his knowledge of sex.
Is that making him randier?
No. What it does, or what it has done, is that it's made him more knowledgeable.
Does it make him responsible?
Yes, because his friends will ask him to ask his mom. Ask your mom, Dylan, because I'm not sure my mom is going to tell me. They will come to the house to ask, Auntie, don't tell my mom, but is this okay? Do you understand?
Mm-hmm.
And I get panicked.
You get panicked?
Yes, I do, because I'm thinking, where's your mom?
Yeah.
Where's your dad? Because I've taught my child. And so why are your parents not having this conversation with you? Why do you think Auntie Iheoma is the person you should be having this conversation with?
Well, when the fact has been made that our kids must be enlightened, I'm concerned about young marriages. Maybe, some of us are already at the point of, you're young. I'm sure you're married for the past 3 or 4 years, or 5 years. And I hear that oftentimes many women are getting more frigid, if that's the word.
Yes.
They're getting more frigid, and they're not expressing themselves so easily, and their husbands are philandering.
Yes.
Have you heard that?
Yes, I've heard that, even though my position is, I think, being lecherous or being a philanderer has really nothing. It has a little to do with your wife's disposition or your spouse's disposition, but it's more a choice you make, regardless of whether your wife is the finest person in the world or the most sexually active person.
I'll take a break. And I'll return to the final moments of our conversation. And remember, it's because we're talking about love and sex within a committed relationship that's important. If you get the information, it's key. We're trying to do that for you here. So we'll be right back after a short break. Well, I'll return and I want to go back to you immediately because I hear things like, it's my wife that made me do it. When a guy, goes away. But you're telling me it's a matter of discipline and responsibility.
Yes, it is. I mean, of course, there may be challenges within. I've been married for just 5 years. Let me use the
5
word
years
just.
is nothing. Ask Iheoma.
Yeah, let me use the word just. And I know the sort of issues that have come up within my young marriage. And those
intimate issues.
Yeah, intimate issues. And you see, those issues are issues that are best trashed out. I heard her talking about honesty, that are best trashed out and not hiding under the guise of, oh, it's because she wouldn't allow me to do this. That's why I'm doing this elsewhere.
Well, I don't know even if you maybe, some women, I've heard some women say things like, well, if I'm too raucous in bed, it's going to think I'm doing it with somebody else, like I'm, you know what I mean? Would you think that? If your wife suddenly came home with one of these toys, for example, and says, hey, honey, I want us to try this. There's one that enlarges stuff there. And she brings it to you. It's like a silent message that says that your own is too tiny.
I have a customer who changed positions and she got a beating because she did reverse cowgirl. And her husband wanted to know where she learned.
Yes, so do you think would you blame a guy?
Yes, you would raise eyebrows depending on maybe the sexual temperament of your spouse. If there's an anomaly, like a spike, a totally different...
It could be education that's changed her.
Yes, it could be, and which is where we go back to honesty. At that point, instead of assuming or thinking, oh, there's an elephant somewhere or something, ask her. Sorry, this is new to me. Where is it coming from?
Or would you prefer that she told you, listen, I'm going to call intimate pleasures, and I think I need to get X, Y, Z, or she just comes home with it? Which one would you rather do?
Coming home with it, yeah, it might be surprising. And again, you see, my issues with sex toys is within a marriage where there's trust and where there's love, it's something, it's not one-sided.
Yeah, you do it together.
Yes, you've really got to do it together. Otherwise, you might bring home something that will cause,
Tell me your experience, because, for you, you've done this for about 3 years now? 10
years.
For about 10 years. Are you serious?
10 years, but 5 years as a business. Men have a lot more disposable income.
So
women have to save up to buy what they want. But there are two types of men we see as customers. We have those men that are adventurous and have got married to the good girl. But their sexual adventurousness does not equate to the wife they married. Now, bringing their wife up to par to their level is a struggle because she doesn't know what to do or what is expected of her.
So is he patient with her?
For some of the men, they are. For others, they've just found a girlfriend.
Really?
Yes.
That's what's happening in our society?
Yes, it is. And they're like, I don't have time for this. She just pack one side.
Is that right, though?
It's not right. But by the time they're ringing us, we are telling them you need to go back to communicate.
Sorry, can I ask, when they say that, have they talked about it?
They say they've talked about it, and sometimes because of religion, it plays a significant role. They will tell you, we even went to our pastor, and I'm thinking, the pastor's got nothing to do with this. The two of you need to talk together.
Was in bed?
Yeah, it's in bed. This has got nothing to do with it. And then remember, pastors come up with all kinds of ideas. There's so many things they tell you not to do. Do you understand? And you wonder where they're making it up because it's clearly not in the Bible. And the Song of Solomon is the most erotic psalms in the Bible. So if you have that as a premise, everything else falls into place. You're in a committed relationship. You have the Songs of Solomon. Just interpret it as you see fit.
Okay, so what do you think about these? I just wonder. Because I have one question I must ask, so I will ask you from Iheoma one is done.
Okay, what do I think about this? I My wife might have a totally different view of what I'm about to say, but
Your
I
wife and you.
think
I like that, my wife and I. It means it's a conversation that both of you
Yeah,
have.
I think I'm an open person. I think I'm an adventurous. In fact, my lifestyle says, adventure in certain other areas. So I'm not averse to it. I don't view it as dirty or, something. No, I don't view it that way. But then again, if my wife is open to it, why not?
Okay, the question from people that they asked, they wanted from Iheoma to answer is, which toys sell the most? Don't worry if you shock me. You're afraid to put it. Oh my God. What is that?
It's a can I open it?
No, you can't.
Okay.
But you can talk about it.
It's a vibrator. It's what they call a Jessica Rabbit vibrator. And what happens is that for couples whose husbands have erectile dysfunction, or epilepsy drugs, diabetic medication, it affects the libido. And sometimes the sexual gratification you get in an intimacy is not there. So the idea is they work together to get her to a climatic level first before he gets to do anything.
So if anything, are you mending marriages with this?
I'm assuming so. I'm not sure, I'm not in the bedroom with them.
Because I wonder, you tell me you're going to go back into counseling because of the work that you've done.
Yes,
because you found that is unearthed.
There's just too much going on, and we pretend a lot, and he's young and he's willing to discuss.
That's what we're talking.
But there are not many of them like that. I have male customers who say, look, I'm going to China. I'm going to be away for 6 weeks.
Give my wife something.
Give me something for my wife. I don't want her eye outside. I will kill her. You're like, okay, what do you want? But do you understand me? Then you have other men who say, she can give my wife something, but she mustn't buy a vibrator. And you're like, okay. So there are all kinds of issues.
So I just wonder, though, you raised the question earlier about what in the case of abuse. I wonder why that concerns you.
What? Okay.
Abuse in terms of abuse, an abused child may go into a sexual relationship damaged.
Yes. The abuse is twofold. Yes, the abused person might start to use this differently. And again, okay, the abuse is the person and then the abuse of the product.
Mm-hmm. Oh, okay.
Yes,
I
the
get
abuse
what you mean.
of the product.
Yeah.
Because a lot of these things are autoerotic style products where I can achieve sexual gratification by myself.
That's important.
Which, if I'm not discussing with my partner or using it with my partner, it creates a chasm between us.
If, for example, you decide this is what you want to be using, maybe what they call a dildo,
yeah.
or a vibrator, then you don't need your husband anymore.
You may not, if both of you are not, involved in that decision.
So that's not true.
The research doesn't indicate such. The research by manufacturers and by the National Health Service in the UK under a sexual health program does not indicate such.
Okay, be that as it may, unfortunately, I must wind up. But before I wind up, I want one last word. What's love and sex to you? Love or sex?
Okay, love or sex?
Yes.
Love.
Love or sex?
Love.
Okay, I wanted to be sure I was on the right track. Love. And love for you is giving your all to the partner you've committed to. So if your partner, you want to make him happy, this is what he wants, go ahead and do it. I wanted to be sure I was on the right track, right? Thank you so much for coming. I wish you all the best. And I think I would be kind to you, since you took time with your cough to come on this show and scroll how they can find intimate pleasures. You never know who might need it.
Okay, www.myintimatepleasureshop.com.
Okay.
But we have a Twitter. Full stop.
Thank you for watching. That's been the show. Happy Valentine's Day. Love sensibly, please. Whatever it is that you do, love sensibly. Inform yourself, find the information, make your choices, but never make choices without information. That's our show today. We'll see you again next week. Bye.